Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the U.S. Embassy's American Center at America. In At America podcast, Woman in Finance, Digital Financial Safety. With me, Patricia Elizabeth, as one of the e-guide here. Today's podcast, we're going to have a discussion on women's finance with an expert. And also in this podcast, you can discover a financial products and learn how to safeguard your money by avoiding scams and illegal platforms. So without any further ado, I will hand it over to our podcaster today. He is an ECON officer at the U.S. Embassy Jakarta. I hand it to you, Pak Joshua Wayland.
Selamat malam dan selamat datang semuanya di At America. Nama saya Joshua Wayland, pejabat ekonomi di Kedutaan Besar Amerika. Saya masih baru di sini di Indonesia, jadi program ini malam ini akan dilakukan dalam bahasa Inggris karena saya belum bisa berbicara bahasa Indonesia dengan baik. I hope that's okay, Ibu. I'm joined tonight with Ibu Novita Bakhtiar. She is the Deputy Director of the Digital Financial Innovations, Digital Asset Supervision and Development Unit at the Indonesia's Financial Services Authority, or OJK.
Halo.
Hi, welcome Novita.
Pak Joshua, apa kabar teman-teman semua di sini? Saya Novita Bakhtiar. Terima kasih introduction-nya.
You're welcome. Yeah, Ibu Novita has a long career at OJK as well as in private practice as an attorney and at the World Bank. And I understand you got your law degree at American University, or your master's of law degree at
Yes,
American
that's right.
in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
I also got my master's degree at American University.
Oh, okay. So
we have that in common.
we do.
So I understand that you just recently actually got back from the United States.
Yes, that's right. So can I tell you a little bit
I'd
about
love
it?
to hear a little bit about it.
Okay. So OJK unit, our unit, which is Digital Financial Innovations and Digital Assets unit, it's a new wing at the OJK. So we are actually in initial stage to draft our regulation, and it will be in a new area of OJK, new area of supervision, which is digital asset. And we reached out to the U.S. government for their support, and so we're fortunate that a group of us were able to participate in a program called IVLP, International Visitors Leadership Program, coordinated or by the State Department. So it was very good. We met various institutions, government institutions, also private sector, that gave us a lot of good knowledge and insights on digital assets regulations and supervision. So it's very helpful for OJK at this stage.
I'm so happy to hear that it was so helpful.
Sure.
The
And
knowledge.
thank you for
sharing.
the U.S. Embassy Indonesia support as well.
So when we talk about digital assets, what does that mean?
Well, digital assets, actually there are a lot of different interpretation, but it's actually it is now can be traded. Like for example, what we all know very well is, for example, crypto. It can be traded as a means of payment in some countries, as a means of exchange. So that I think recently emerged, but in Indonesia also maybe less than a decade. And OJK is mandated as the new regulator on digital asset, but not yet effective. So next year it will be effective. So we are now in the preparation for to be the supervisor and regulator for the digital asset.
So the digital assets that most people are probably the most familiar with would be cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, for example.
True,
Okay.
true.
I understand. And what else does your unit on digital innovations and digital asset supervision and development work on?
Okay. The digital innovations is also a innovation that OJK supervise. It's not as new as digital asset. It's been around about 5 years being regulated at OJK. That's actually innovations in financial sector, financial services that is sometimes go through our sandbox. It's called regulatory sandbox for testing. So we are testing the regulation, the innovation with a limited space of operation, and we will see if it has really good benefits. And normally they're innovative and can bring the financial services faster, more effective, more affordable, for example, then we will graduate them from the sandbox and introduce their services with in the market with our respective regulation. So perhaps you will know some are already operating, but we will issue our regulations on that because of the new unit at OJK that we will issue regulations on those digital financial innovators sometime this year. So it's called in Indonesian term ITSK, Inovasi Teknologi di Sektor Jasa Keuangan.
I see. Yeah, when I first arrived in Indonesia and even up until now, I was surprised that there are a lot of innovations in digital finance.
Mhm.
Nowadays, you can pay your bills online
True.
or using an app or open a bank account online or through your phone, even make investments
True.
or borrow money online.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering, do you think that all of this innovation can help with what we call financial inclusion? That is, making sure that everyone in Indonesia, from all different parts of the country, women and men, and from all different groups and income levels, can be part of the financial system. Does it help with financial inclusion?
Yes, I think with digital services, I think there's no borders. There's no everyone in with the smartphones, for example, with computer, with access to internet, can access those financial services. And Indonesia is a large country with also high rate of smartphones. So I think from the data that we have, the mobile money account or the digital transaction continues to increase, and it's a growing trend also for lending, also for payment services. So also what we hope to have, it also increases the access to finance for the underbanked population, individuals, or also MSMEs, which is a huge part of Indonesian economy. So so they were previously underserved by financial services, but now it can be accessible for them, and of course it will help with financial inclusion in the country, which has been a big challenge for Indonesia.
Right. I know it's a priority for the Indonesian government to promote financial inclusion. It's also a priority for the United States government to promote inclusive economic growth here in Indonesia. So it's something that there's a lot of opportunities for us to work together on.
Yes, true. Good. We'd welcome that.
So how about women in particular who have historically faced barriers to financial inclusion for a number of reasons, found it more challenging to get access to a bank account or financing for their small business? Do you think that these new digital financial innovations can help address that gap?
Yes, I think so. I think women plays a very important role in that, and I think let me just give you an illustration. Women in Indonesia is around 49.2%, so close to 50% of the total population in Indonesia, and it's around 133 million, which is a huge number, right? And 53% of them are of productive age. So this is based on the survey done by OJK recently, and women also plays a very important role in the family. Also, they are the ones that create better generation, and they're the source of the children for their financial literacy. So and also women who are working and at a productive age can also help improve the economy of the family and of the communities that they live on. However, we need to make sure that women have adequate literacy and the financial literacy. This is because otherwise women can be in a vulnerable position, and with good literacy, they could even play a better role and be a good provider in terms of economy for their family and for their community. So literacy is important. It's still now less than the men's literacy rate, which is compared to men. It's women. It's about 2% less literacy level, around 83 or 84% compared to 86% for men. So this is the inclusion. But for literacy, women already, since OJK has focused their literacy program on women in the past 3 years or so, women already possess a higher literacy rate than men. So that's we're getting there. So it's a good news.
So even though financial inclusion is still lower for women than for men, financial literacy for women has already surpassed that of men.
That's true. Yeah.
How about digital financial literacy specifically? Are you also collecting data on that? Because when it comes to these new digital financial innovations, it's not just understanding finances, but also understanding technology, right?
That's true. Digital financial literacy is something that actually our unit promotes. The digital financial innovation and digital asset unit promote. We have been introducing several digital financial literacy modules to the public. We have about 5 modules, including like know your fintech or peer-to-peer lending and cybersecurity and data safety. So we are targeting young generation and university students and also women, of course, among them. So you can also check that in Smart Digital Indonesia. We have several apps, several modules that's also available in the application form. So that would actually greatly help with complementing with OJK Consumer Protection Unit is doing.
It's called Smart Digital Indonesia is the name.
Yep.
And so someone could go to, it's a website or it's an app, that's the name of the app?
That's also an app,
Oh,
yeah.
both,
There's
okay.
also an ebook available also at OJK website.
That's great. So that will give them information about how to stay safe online or how to take care of their data online.
That's right.
When they're engaging in financial transactions through
Digital financial transactions.
in the digital
right.
world.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Right.
That's a great resource. And it's great to hear about the work that your unit is doing to help promote that digital financial literacy.
Great.
So we wanted to talk a little bit about today about digital financial safety because in many places in the world, as the financial world has moved more online and become more digitalized, this creates a lot of great opportunities for increasing financial inclusion, but there's some concern it might also increase the opportunities for bad actors out there to take advantage of people. Things like scams or fraud and other illegal online financial platforms. How about the situation in Indonesia? Is that something that OJK is watching?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of bad actors have emerged in the digital financial world or space. Of course, OJK has been paying close attention to that. We have a task force that's called started with the name Investment Alert Task Force. Now is combating illegal financial transactions task force, or Satgas Pasti in short. They have been doing a lot of work in eliminating the bad actors from digital transactions. This is to regain trust from the customers, and they have a lot of illegal websites blocked and also applications blocked. So this is OJK leads in this task force, but it's not only OJK. There's a lot of several other ministries and institutions, including the law enforcement agencies. But since it's in financial sector, OJK leads in that. This also emerged from illegal lending, illegal investment. So mostly the cases are from the pinjaman online, pinjol, or peer-to-peer lending. But there are also other types of scam or fraud related. So for example, phishing and scam from also social media. It has been a lot of complaints that OJK received, around 6.5% of complaints. It came from the use of digital transactions. So phishing, social engineering, skimming, and other types of fraud-related complaints have been reported by our customers to OJK. And also the losses that customers experience over the period of 4 years from 2018 to 2022, it reached 126 trillion. I'm not sure in US dollars terms.
I'm not going to try and do that math in my head, but it's a lot.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
So in other words, some of these bad actors are going on social media and connecting with people that way and then convincing them to make an investment with a promise of making a return, and then they just never see their money again.
Yeah. Yes, and also for example, on the online lending, for example, customers who have never applied for loan, for example, suddenly they receive the transfer, and then the fraudster then asks them to repay the money with interest. So this, one of the practices that has emerged also. So and also regular peer-to-peer lending, the illegal ones that charges very high interest rates. That's something that consumers need to watch out for as well.
Can you talk a little bit, or do you know what types of interest rates they might be charging at some of those?
Some of them like 1% a day, for example. Yeah, and that's very high, and people don't really know this. They don't really read the fine prints when they enter into the contract with peer-to-peer lending. So this is why education is very important. Literacy programs very important. So OJK keeps doing that. And also not only on regular financial transactions, also on digital transactions.
So let's talk about some practical advice to give people then about how to tell the difference between a real financial actor that is legitimate and a potential fraud or scam that they might encounter. Or if we're talking about peer-to-peer lending or other online lenders, how can you tell the good ones from the bad ones?
Okay, that is a very good question. Actually, you can check the legal ones, the legal peer-to-peer lenders at OJK website. So whoever that's offering you some loans that's not in there, that's illegal. So it's very easy, and go to ojk.go.id and you can click on fintech and also Sikapi Uangmu, or from our consumer protection unit. That they have also they always update the list on those companies that are under OJK supervision. And whenever in doubt, you can also call OJK hotline, consumer protection, call 157. That's the number. So, and also it's available on WhatsApp. It's 081 157 157 157 three times. So that's a one way to check it.
Can you say that number one more time so I make sure I got it?
Okay. So for landline, number is 157. WhatsApp number, which I believe many of you will use, 081 157 157 157. So just to help easy to remember.
So you would recommend that someone, if they're not sure if the offer that they're getting for lending or for making an investment, you can check the OJK website to
Right.
see if it's been vetted
Yep.
and been checked out by OJK first. And if there's still a question, you can call the hotline number.
Yes.
Are there any particular characteristics or signs that an actor might be a bad actor that someone should look out for when they're online? For example, do both legitimate or real actors, real financial services companies, and fraudsters advertise through social media, or is it always something that's a little bit suspicious?
Yes, of course, if it's something that sounds too good to be true, that's normally not legit. And also, if you are offered a very high return of your investment, that's normally also not legit. And of course, OJK has a list of companies, financial companies that are under OJK supervision, banks and all other companies, other financial institutions under OJK supervision. And you can find out if they seem to be the real one. That's also listed. And normally you can also check if they contact you, informally through WhatsApp, because the formal financial institutions don't really do that and offering those high returns.
So if someone contacts you out of the blue, offering very high returns, promising very high profit, that might be a little bit suspicious, and
Yeah.
something you would want to look into.
Right, no collateral loads,
Right.
like really fast, yeah, very high. Normally it's not, yeah.
Okay, what if somebody has already been taken advantage of and has become a victim of fraud? What is the next step for them? What should they do?
Of course, it's the same number to channel your complaints. OJK also make the channels available for consumers to state their complaints. You can do it by phone. You can also do it by email to consumen at ojk.go.id. So it's consumen, KONSUMEN, at ojk.go.id. In addition to the numbers that I gave earlier, however official email address to channel complaint. They also have it available on email. So you can complain to OJK, state what the uh, what type of fraud that they were a victim to, the details, and then you can follow up with the same number, the OJK.
Okay.
Yeah. So normally OJK will then investigate the if the incidents have occurred also maybe in other consumers, then OJK will investigate that the fraud case.
In coordination with the police, with law enforcement, you do that work?
If it has to be, otherwise we can check internally with the supervisors, for example, if it is if it's not the illegal,
Right.
of course. But if it's illegal, then we have a separate mechanism to handle that.
I see. So if someone's been a victim of fraud, then the first step for them, or they believe they have been, is also to contact OJK, who has a process for investigating it and seeing if fraud really took place and if others have been affected and what action then needs to be taken at that point.
Yes.
So another side of digital financial safety would be safety of your data
Right.
online, because
Yes.
when we're transacting online, we're putting a lot of our personal information out there into the world.
Yes.
What advice do you have about staying safe in terms of protecting your data? And I guess this would be not just from the customer side, but
Yes.
also for the financial institutions.
Yes, that's right. Data is very important. Maybe some people still don't understand it. So, for example, if you're approached, like if you wanna, participate in this lucky draw, for example, and they ask you so many informations, don't do that. Your data is very important. Someone can misuse your data to apply for loan, for example, and suddenly when you actually want to apply for a loan, you are turned down because they said you already have a loan and outstanding loan, and you're not paying it back.
You might
but
not even know that you
don't
have
even
it.
know
Wow.
that. That's very dangerous. So you need to be very careful in giving away your data, and make sure that you have consent if you give your data to, for example, financial institution. Make sure that you give consent and you know what purpose that your data would be used for. Um, and I think it goes both sides. OJK mandate is protecting consumer, but on the other hand, we are also supervising the financial institutions. So we also promote the safety of our consumers, financial consumers, through supervision, through way of supervision, through our regulations, through our guidelines, to make sure that those companies, those financial institutions also apply high safety for the consumers' data that are under their uh, uh, that they are using for their business process. So, for example, cybersecurity, we would require those financial institutions to make sure that they um, take steps, take precautionary steps in protecting their system infrastructure, and that also holds their consumers' data. So in that way, um, we OJK does promoting safety for data both sides, one from consumer side through financial literacy, and the other from our financial institutions through those regulations or guidelines to make sure that financial transaction can be trusted and people can make transactions, digital transactions or online transactions with ease and also with a feeling of safety. And that's secure transactions is also a key to digital transactions.
Oh, wow. So you have a big job there at OJK, both the financial services industry side, making sure that they're keeping up with cybersecurity standards and best practices so that they are taking care of their customers' data, and then also training customers to stay safe on their end.
Yes, that's right.
And I guess this is all made even more challenging because technology is changing so quickly all of the time. So we've heard a lot lately about artificial intelligence, right? And how that is changing many different industries, including the financial industry. Is OJK and your unit in particular looking into AI,
Yes.
artificial intelligence,
Yes.
and how it's going to change the digital financial world?
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. We just recently launched our guidelines for trustworthy and responsible use of AI in fintech in the fintech industry, and through our fintech associations, we would like to make sure that they apply good control of the AI usage in their business process in a way that the use of AI can still be beneficial, transparent, and can be explained to the customers. So this is something that has got OJK attention also because the use of AI has to be also monitored by humans. So we need the financial institutions who use AI in their business process also responsible for the output that the AI that they use in their business process is also responsible and can be trusted. That's also one of the guidelines that our unit issued.
So new guidelines on responsible use of AI in the financial industry.
That's right. That's right.
Very interesting. So
Thank you.
one of the purposes of this whole series of events that we do is to provide practical advice and information for women and in particular, but also men about how to stay safe online, other practical advice about personal finances. But we also want to talk about and encourage young women to pursue careers in finance.
Okay.
Because this is an industry where, as you know, as a woman who works in this field, women continue to be underrepresented compared to men in finance and also in technology, perhaps especially where the two come together in fintech and digital financial industry.
Right.
So I'm hoping in the time that we have left, maybe you could just talk a little bit about your story and your journey as a woman in this field,
No.
and what kind of challenges that you faced and how you overcame those.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. This requires, a bit of thinking back. Uh, so how I started, I think it was, of course, everyone has their own journey. And luckily, the institutions I worked at did always treat women and men fairly. But I see some underrepresentation. And I see that to get into to the door, just to get you in at the door, is important. But what's more important is to stay, uh, to maintain your job and
Oh.
to excel on it. So that's a different story. So if you, for example, you get a good job, but then you just you just sit still, right? You want to advance your career also. You want to seize the opportunity. So I would advise that you take um, as many knowledge as possible where you are, and also pay attention to what's needed, uh, you know, at the moment. So, for example, technology, and also perhaps environment, ESG is very very relevant right now. So get yourself some knowledge on that. If you can learn, and if you can ask of, your colleagues, your friends, that is something that's needed. So you can try to advance your career or knowledge on that. The resources are available on the internet. Like um, right now, there's just so many options, right? You can take online courses. You can learn from journals or whatever. But uh, try to learn a new thing uh, ev- every day, like on your job and also on outside your job. It maybe opens up a new opportunity, and try to also, well, work hard is something that's very common, right? You work hard, you stay abreast of what's going on, and you will have to see um, maybe two steps ahead in a way that what is needed right now and what is needed a couple of years from now. So um, go check what type of job that they normally require. Knowledge and skill in IT, uh, data analytics, and also finance in combination with technology, like you said. It's very relevant, and it will still be relevant, I think, few years from now. Um, and I name also ESG, for example. That's also something that is also novel and also still needed now and also a few years from now, definitely. So I think that's at least that's what I believe.
Thank
So
you for
hope
that.
it's helpful. Yeah.
And I do want to ask you at the end whether you have any additional advice for the young women in the audience here and those watching and listening at home about how to become more financially literate, and like what you just said about following a career in finance. But I also want to get to just a few questions that we've received online first. So let's see, we've got a question here that was submitted through Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter. It says, how does OJK carry out investigations into suspected financial crimes?
Mm. So we have the Satgas Pasti that has that is a form of a collaboration between OJK and other institutions. I believe it's 12 or 13 institutions, including law enforcement, and they meet regularly, and they also meet very often when they're investigating something. So I think OJK also, before it gets carried out by the investment task force, OJK also has an internal mechanism to investigate whether the financial institutions have done something that is not governed, or it's illegal transactions that cause consumer loss. So JICA has its own mechanism also, um, I mean investigative mechanism internally.
So in OJK, you have specially trained investigators as part of the agency that look into these suspected crimes depending on what they are?
Yeah, we do. We do have that. And we do have officers at the consumer protections that are specialized in handling those types of issues.
The next question that we have was
Mhm.
submitted through Zoom, and it says, what are some effective strategies you've found for setting and achieving long-term financial goals, particularly in an unpredictable economic climate? So this is one about how to actually be successful in investing, right?
Investing.
Or saving,
Or
and meeting
savings.
financial goals.
Right, right. I believe start early is important. Starting early is important. Know very well the needs and the wants, right? And if you are ready to invest, you need to know your risk tolerance. What's your investment profile? Are you risk taker or a bit moderate? So you choose your investment based on your risk tolerance, and then you choose the type of products that suits you and according to your needs. And first, also create goals, whether you want to save it, for example, for your master's degree or just for vacations. That's short term and long term, right? And when you invest, make sure that the institution is legit and trustworthy, and know the regulator who is supervising the company. And if there's an investment contract, for example, make sure you read carefully the terms and conditions, read the fine prints, and actually there are a lot of sources on the internet that could help you achieve your investment goals or long-term financial goals. So look into that as well, but make sure it's trustworthy resources as well.
Yes, we've been talking a lot about ways to avoid fraud and scams, but a big part of financial literacy is also understanding the different investment products and strategies that are out there. Like you said, you need to know your own risk tolerance and then understand how your investments line up with that. Have you seen issues before with people not really understanding the investment that they took, and maybe they were only paying attention to how much money they could make and not
Right.
how much they could potentially lose?
Right.
Because usually, if you invest in something that has a high potential return, it also means that there's a big risk that you
Right.
could lose potentially maybe all of your money.
Right, that's very true. That's very true. So educate yourself first on that, and just choose the product that you understand, actually. And FOMO is very dangerous in this
FOMO?
area. Yeah, if your friends are investing in this, okay, so you want to jump the boat. You want to you want to join them, and that's probably not best for you. Also, you need to make sure that it's the right one for you.
That would be fear of missing
Missing out. Yeah, sorry.
So people will make an investment because they might see like the price of a cryptocurrency is going up really fast, and you don't want to miss out on that.
Right.
But you, like you said, need to know your own risk tolerance. How much are you willing to potentially lose?
Lose. That's right. That's right.
All right, our next question was submitted through Facebook, and it says, how can we educate and empower more people to make informed financial decisions? We've talked about some of the ways already that OJK is working through the apps that you mentioned and the website and ebook.
Right.
Other ideas that we can share with the audience tonight?
Other than we try to target different segments of consumers, women, young people, and we also have program for very young age students about savings, about setting aside your money, whether it's needs or wants. So to make sure that they also understand financing since very early age. So our colleagues at the Consumer Protection and Literacy also have different kinds of programs for those different types of audience. So it's also done through collaboration with education institutions, and we always evaluate, we monitor the efficacy of the programs. So I think if you check the OJK websites and read the modules, then at least you'll be in better shape than people who don't do that.
That's great. That's a great place to start for resources. Obviously, part of what we're trying to do here with this series is to help educate and empower people as well, to make more informed financial decisions, because it's something that's very, very important. And like I said at the beginning, is a priority of both of our governments. Make sure that the economy is inclusive and that economic growth in the future will benefit all Indonesians.
Right. That's right.
Our next question came through Zoom, and it says, does OJK always monitor the online transaction applications that are currently widespread in Indonesia? So I assume that means applications like GoPay, which is very widely used. You're monitoring those applications?
It's supervised by a different institution, government agency, which is Bank Indonesia, a central bank. But let me tell you this, apps, there varies, and there are a lot of it. And I think it's very difficult for authorities or supervisor to monitor all transactions at all different kinds of apps, at all times. However, if we received alerts or complaints from our customers, then we could investigate. And for example, some websites that are offering some illegal investments, then we could go coordinated with Ministry of ICT, Information and Communication Ministry, to block the website, or even work with, for example, if it's in Google, then we can also work with them or give them alert. For example, from time to time, we did that. But collaboration with other agency is what we do. But we will know if we receive an alert or complaints.
I see. So it depends on the type of application. Some might fall under the direct responsibility of Bank Indonesia, some under OJK. But you work together with these different other ministries and agencies to address concerns. Okay.
Right.
And we have another question that just came in here through Facebook. It says, in order to provide knowledge directly to young people, does OJK have direct contact with universities in Indonesia, something like socialization?
Mm-hmm.
So I think you mentioned a
Yeah.
little bit about
Yeah.
some of the programming that you're doing through universities and for younger ages as well.
Yeah.
Can you mention some specific programs at universities that
Yeah.
you partner with?
Yeah. Just from our unit, we just recently did that in several cities in Eastern Java, East Java, and before that we did in Sumatra, and that in doing that we of course collaborating with the universities, private universities or state universities, and we normally we will have an audience like this, sometimes much larger audience, and we tell them about our modules. We tell them about, we give them quiz of what they know actually about, let's say, digital safety, safety of their data, and the danger of online lending, for example, and then we encourage them to educate themselves through our modules, and we did that. We do that regularly, and we just do the different areas each time, the different areas of Indonesia each time. And also, I want to mention OJK also has regional offices all over Indonesia, and they're also doing the consumer education to the communities. So that's also in collaboration with OJK offices, regional offices, um, and um, and also they do that as part of their role in their offices.
So the regional offices that are out there, they're well placed to do that kind
Yes.
of work all over
Mm-hmm.
Indonesia in different places through
Right.
their connections with
Outreach. Yeah,
universities or
that's right.
other institutions.
That's right.
That's great. Okay, we're just about out of time, I think. So I did want to ask you one final question, and that would be, what final advice would you like to leave the audience here, both in person and our audience listening or watching at home?
Yes. Okay. So thanks for that. To close, I think we from OJK we would like the audience to know about the danger of frauds that could happen anywhere, but we are focusing on digital financial transactions. So I hope you know more now about the safety of your data and how to protect that. And I hope you now learn a little bit more about your rights as consumer, and how to channel your complaints, how to find out whether the investment offers or a product is legit or not, and there are ways to do that, and also be on alert of those offers and scams that are done by fraudsters, and also reach out to OJK when you experience something that you think is suspicious in terms of financial transactions, digital financial transactions. There are a lot of dangers also in terms of because how easy it is to get online lending online, and also the BNPL or buy now pay later, like you just one click away from purchasing something that you actually could not afford in one payment. Maybe you can afford in five payments. That's very it's very high interest because it's short term, and it's although it's small in number, you feel that it might be small in number, but it's very high interest rate. So educate yourself in that and read the fine prints and know your rights and know how to channel your complaints. Actually, those are my advice. And in addition to that is be careful when you're in public place and maybe checking or doing transaction online, like checking your online banking. Use your subscription, cell phone subscription instead of use the public Wi-Fi. Protect your passwords using more complicated passwords or two steps. It's also important, and be cautious about your sharing your data to other people or other or platforms. So that's my advice.
Yeah, so basically, I see three
Mm-hmm.
big themes there. One, keep your data safe. That's
Mm-hmm.
basic cyber awareness, cyber security. Know your passwords. Change
Mm-hmm.
your passwords. Use good, strong passwords.
Yes.
Don't use public Wi-Fi if
Mm-hmm.
possible. Things like this. And then number two is make sure you know what you're signing up for, whether
Right.
it's a loan or a savings account or
Mm-hmm.
an investment account. Make sure you understand what it is, what that product is before
Mm-hmm.
you
Sign
sign
up.
or
Mm-hmm.
give someone money.
Right.
And then third is if you do have questions
Mm-hmm.
or get into a bad situation, OJK can be there to help.
Right.
And so just to finally end here, I'm wondering if you could just remind everyone again of the hotline number and the email address so that
Okay.
we get
Okay.
that out there.
Sure. The landline number is 157, and the WhatsApp number is 081 157 157 157, and the email address is consumen, KONSUMEN, @ojk.go.id. That's
Okay.
it.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Buena
you.
Vita, for joining us this evening, and thank you all for joining us here for this At America podcast and part of our Women in Finance series. We hope to see you at the next one.
Thank you so much to our podcaster and speakers for today's podcast, Joshua Wayland, Econ Officer at the U.S. Embassy Jakarta, and Ibu Novita L. Bakhtiar as the Deputy Director of OJK for the insightful discussion on today's podcast. So, to find out more about At America, you can follow our social media. We have on Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, AT America. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. My name is Patricia Elizabeth, and see you at the next At America events. Bye, everyone! Sekali lagi terima kasih for Pak Joshua Wayland dan Ibu Novita